Hello again, I'm Dennis. Welcome to the number 5th video of C# Fundamental tutorial. Now, before we go further, if you've not watched the video with the timeline 1 to 4, I would advise you to go watch them first before you jump into the 5th one, which we're doing now. Okay, now, what have we done so far? Understanding C# Basic generally. We've talked about variables. We've talked about data types. We've talked about subroutine, otherwise methods. We've talked about conditional statement. We've talked about iteration. So our present video right now is collection. Understanding C# collection. For many applications, you may want to create and manage groups of related objects. Okay? There are two ways to do this, by creating arrays of objects and creating collections of objects. Right? Arrays. Arrays are most useful for creating the work with a fixed number of strongly typed objects. Collection. Collection provides a more flexible way to work with groups of objects. Unlike arrays, the group of objects you work with can grow and shrink dynamically as the needs of the application changes. Okay, a perfect example of a collection would look like that, where you have groups of an element stored in a collection. Start from the index 0, 1, 2, 3, and of course 4. Okay, this makes a full-length collection of 5. All right. Now, I know you might be confused. You don't understand this still. Now, I'm going to break it a little bit more further for you to get the picture of what I'm trying to say. Now, take a look at this. That it's a single block of collection. Okay, that's a single block or a single element in a collection. Now, what do we have here? We have an index of 0, then a type of string. This block is nothing else than a variable. We are storing a string type called Dennis Uroa in the index 0. It's like a cache. It's going to cache it and keep it. Okay? Now, when we combine other blocks with it, it's going to look like this. Now, where we have James Bond stored in index 1, Martha stored in index 2, David Banner stored in index 3, Lord North stored in index 4. All right, making the length of the entire index being 5. So the whole collection length is otherwise 5. Okay. Sometimes they call it size, not just length. It could size in array sometimes. All right. Okay. What we're about to do is write an array, declare an array, which I will be doing. That's it's talking about arrays, lists, dictionary, and maybe observable collection. I'm just going to do that extra just for you. Actually, I wanted to talk about those 3, but I'll add the observable collection, including the basic this one actually. So, but let's go for it. And after doing that, I will be for each one, I will be declaring them, adding into it, reading from it, knowing the length or size of the collection, inserting into a collection or altering a collection, let me put it that way, removing from the collection, ordering, as well as when you say ordering, it could be sorting, for example, generally. Okay, so let's actually put this there. To speed things up again, I have written some setting of codes, and I will put them in there. First of all, let me create a C# class, a C# collection class. First of all, which I've done, I'm going to set that to public, and I will uncomment that one because we might not be needing it. Yeah, exactly. So, and then I will write. I'm going to add a subroutine or a method for that array collection. Now, what I'm going to do first of all is declare an array, okay, which you may have seen that before, because I believe I've done that before, but I'm not going to go back to the passcodes, go find them up, but let me put it here. So that's declare a collection of person, and it's having a fixed size of 5. Okay, now I will then add into the collection, move it away again, which is that one, copy and paste. I'm going to uncomment that. Now I've added into the collection, and generally I will just print it out like that. Okay, I will break this down again, okay, in order for you to understand what I've done. I have a picture of it. Well, I kept it here. Yeah, exactly. Move that there. Okay. Now, again, you will see that in person, we have the index 0. I'm storing Dennis Euroa in this block of elements. And in the index 1, I'm storing James Bond. You can see it here. And then Martha Ben in index 2, which is, you see here up. And David Banner index 3, see it there. Lloyd North index 4, see it there. And the collection length is what, 5, see it there. Okay, all right, let's proceed. And I'm going to be reading from them, which is reading from the collection itself. This time I'm talking about the array, which we are using the iteration, otherwise known as loop, and that is what we covered on our last video, if you can recall. So from time to time, you will be needing one part to solve problems on the other part. So that is how program works. You need to know all these basics so you can combine them together to solve a problem. Okay, now let's actually go test this. I'm going to copy that and paste it here and call it var, and what we're dealing with collections. I'll call it collections as equals to the new class we've created, and I'm going to call the collections array. So I'll play that again, or run it actually and see it in action. There you go. Now it's very simple. We have in our array output, we've stored Dennis Euroa, James Bond, Martha Ben, and David Banner, Lloyd North. Okay, so just went in there and read them out again. Okay, I'm going to stop that. What we have to do next is know the size of the array or of the collection. And again, I have a code formerly been done. It's quite simple. I'll take it at the tip of it here. Copy. And I'll go here and say that's my array. Place it there. Oh, that's too much. Okay, and uncomment it. Again, if you want to know the length of an array, or the size of an array, there is a function or a method in the array. You just say dot length, and then otherwise known as size, you get the size here. So it shows you that it reads the size of it's going to print 5 out of it. Let me run it. There you go. Collection length is 5. If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pretty simple. Okay, take that out or stop it, and this time around I will be altering the collection. Let's assume you want to change in the index 2 Martha Ben to Nelson override. So I will insert and override it here. Again, I have a code that I've written before in between. Now, if you see, it's supposed to show Martha Ben, but I will override it. I will change this what's stored here and the person2 index, and I'll write Nelson override. Let's print that out and see that in action. There you go. We have Nelson override. Okay. What happens here is quite simple. At first, it was created with the complete block, including Martha Ben, and then somewhere along the line, something happened in between the codes. It went in and said, you know what? I actually have to override Martha. I mean, Martha is not the person that's supposed to be stored there. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to store Nelson override. And that's exactly what happened. So Martha is thrown out and Nelson overtakes Martha. The length remains 5. Pretty simple. Okay? So that's a perfect way of changing, of editing or overwriting an element in a block. A block of elements being overwritten in your collection. Okay? Now, I'll bring that back again. This time we're going to be talking about removing from the array. Okay? And again, to keep things simple, I've written a series of code for that, which I will take, which is that one. And I'll paste it just right here below. And this will be taken out. I will uncomment that. Now, C# is very rich and demanding. Okay? C# is very rich. Very rich. It has lots of function. I mean, I'm talking about .NET framework in general. Okay? What depends on how you want to do it. Like in my case, what I do with array, I tend to change the type of an array to a list, save it in a variable, and then I will now have this method called remove at. So when I say remove at, meaning I want an index, something I want to throw away. What do I want to throw away? Let me actually take out Nelson out and leave it the way it was so we can still see Martha Ben. What do I want to throw out? I want to throw out Martha Ben, generally. And Martha Ben is in index 2. So I put remove at index 2 and print out the rest for me. So when I run that, you're not going to see Martha Ben anymore. And the whole thing will be changed because it's going to remain with index 5, with the length 5, sorry. The length will remain 5 because we've defined it. Its length remains 5. So, but then we're going to be having just 1, 2, 3, and 4 in there. Let me print that out again. There you go. So, if you see right now we have Dennis, we have James Bond, David Banner, Lloyd North. Martha Ben is missing. Is that because we said remove at index 2, which happens to Martha Ben, we'll throw that out. Okay? Alright. Nice and simple. Alright. Great. Let's go talk about sorting, like ordering. I want to be able to sort them alphabetically. So what do I do? Again, I have a code for that. I will copy here, take it over, and I will comment that one out. Paste it there. There you go. Uncommented. So if you see, I am using what they call the link method to sort my array. The array here right now is person. I'm saying from names. Okay, this is a variable in person, order by names. So order by is going to do this. It's going to order them alphabetically, like having all D starting from D, these two will be at the top, and then followed by alphabetically by M, J, L, and etc. So when I run this, you are not going to see it in that form the way it was before. Rather, you're going to see it that way. Let me run it, and we take a look at it. There you go. If you see, now we have David at the top of it. Dennis follows James, Lloyd, and Martha. Okay, quite simple. So there might be a situation where you asked to sort the list before displaying the informations either in a grid for the users to see, and basically you need to sort them. Yes, you definitely need to sort them. Okay, but not to worry. Sometimes most of the components that we use or that you will see, things like grids or list view or list itself, they have sort functions in them, so the users can equally click at the column top and things get sorted automatically for themselves. But again, you might need it in the future, so that's why we'll talk about sorting. Okay, now let me check what we still, yeah, that's just it actually for arrays. Now we will be talking more about the list of T. All right, wait for it. You know what? There's something still missing. Did I mention other ways of declaring an array? No, not really. So, but let's quickly touch that very fast, so you know how to declare an array in the different form. At the same time adding into it. I have made some codes before. I'm going to copy them formally. Just take that. So I will uncomment that one out later. Let me add it here. So that's it. Another way of declaring an array. So I will just take that out completely. So let's assume I'll take that out as well and leave it in the formal way it was, like that way. Okay, and I'm going to, that's the first way of doing it, when you can define it, and while you are declaring it initially, you can add the blocks into it like that. Okay, that's just it. So when I run this, you will see that it's definitely going to have the same effect. Let's just run it. There you go. Dennis, James Bond, Martha, David, Banner, Lloyd, not. So still the same thing. So let's try the next one in action. I'm going to uncomment that one and uncomment that one, comment this one and uncomment the other one. So you see, in that one I defined the length, okay, how big it will be, how you can take more than 5, okay, but in this case I didn't do it in this part. I just defined new string, and I'm not giving you size. Formally I give him size here and I give him size here, but I did the same thing here, not give him size. So he knows automatically at initial stage that it stores 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks in there, and then it takes that automatically and said, you know what, I am now 5. You can't add anything into me anymore. I'm going to talk more about that later when I try to add something extra into it, and you're going to see how it's going to explode. So that makes it 5 of with the length 5. So I run this, it does the same thing as well. Let's run it. Pretty simple, doing the same thing. Okay, fine, works fine. So now I'll break it down a little bit, go a little bit further. I will add that part where I don't have the new string in there. You're going to see this in action. All right, I'll run it anyway. Like I said earlier, you don't have this new string in front of it. It knows automatically that you can create, it will initially create it with a new string, because it knows that the string here and said, oh, actually he just said shorthand, I'll use the shorthand. Oh, he knows it automatically. It will create it, like building it. So I'm going to run this again. See that in action? Yes, fine, it works. Okay, it's 5. It's with the length 5. So what happens if we tend to add something else out of this 5 that was formerly defined? It's going to explode. So we only have 0 to 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So definitely we have index 4 at the end with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I tend to add something with index 5, it's going to breach. And watch out for it. Let me run this. Boom! It explodes. It's telling me, what? You're trying to add something. I have a size of 5, and you're adding an index 5 into it. I don't really have a portion for it. So where do you want me to save it? There's for each place, each element, I have a portion. But for that one, I don't have a portion. So I can't save anything there. So I can't find it. So it explodes and it stops there. Okay. It gives an exception. Exception is a different topic entirely. That I will show you on later on videos as we go. So that's that. Let me uncomment that and use the one at the top, and then maybe you might get, if you are confused with that one. So I'm going to use this one, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Don't forget, I've given it the size of 5. So now I'm saying you should put an index 4. So in index 5, there is not an index 5. It's still going to explode. Watch out for it. Watch out. You see what I mean? So it explodes again and again and again and again. So you need to be careful when you're using arrays. Okay? That is it's just not working. It's a disadvantage in arrays. An array don't grow. Okay? It doesn't grow. It doesn't shake. You can't just add anything in between an array. An array is something that has a fixed size at the beginning. You must give it a fixed size. Okay? And now that's all about array, and that leads us to my next point, which happens to be the list of T that I mentioned before. Here, list of T. The T means type. List of any type. Okay, it could be a class, it could be a string. String is a type. A class is equally type when you've defined it generally. So, but class is a different thing entirely. We'll talk about class in general, but I'll show you very short how to use that as well. Okay. I'm not really sure if this video will be able to contain the list of T. So, but basically, I might be combining the list of T and dictionary as well as the observable collection in the next video. For now, I will put it to rest and put this other stuff in the next video. I think that will be better because we don't have much time. We just have 23 minutes. Actually, I tend to do 30-minute video, 23. Then we have just 8 minutes more. But never mind, it's not going to be enough. So I'll put the rest in the other video. Wait for it. Thanks for watching this video. Wait for the next one. Hope to see you soon.